Hi, my name is Josiah Osborne, and I'm a sophomore political science major from Mount Vernon, New York. And today, in the argument of Kendrick Lamar being the better rapper, I would like to go against that, saying that neither is the better rapper because the real better rapper or the GOAT of hip hop is a man that goes by the name of Kanye West. So before I get into my argument, I'd like to define the criteria that I hold for what a good rapper or the best rapper alive or the GOAT conversation would be like for me. So I have their personal accomplishments, uh, public view, the way the public sees them, and their body of work, and their influence outside of rap. So I like to touch on accomplishments. So in terms of accomplishments, that goes for Grammy specifically, any awards they might have won, any recognition they might have gotten, any #1 albums, anything that has just, put them above everybody else in their respective fields. Their influence outside of rap. I think that a rapper has a strong voice, not only lyrically, but in the community, especially in the black community, because I feel like rappers have influence over the people that listen to them. So I think that when they put their voice and their influence in different areas of life, such as fashion, activism, things of that nature, I think that really puts them above and beyond every other rapper who doesn't really have their name in the ring of the whole GOAT conversation. And then it's public view. Now, public view can be anything from just the way the public sees them. Public view can be the way that they see them, the way that they perceive their body of work, the way that they just the way that they see the artist as a person in all aspects of life, whether that be good or bad. So, I would like to start by discussing Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole before I get into my reasoning behind Kanye West. So Kendrick Lamar has had a great career. He's had #1 singles. He's had great albums, thought-provoking albums that have made you think, and albums that have brought up conversation about race and police brutality and things of that nature. But let's start off with accomplishments. Kendrick Lamar has won 13 Grammys and has been nominated for 37, including winning Best Rap Album 2 times. Now, while that's no small feat, that's a great accomplishment by a great artist who makes great music. We see his album To Pimp a Butterfly. Some perceive it as the best album to come out in the last decade. Some people see it as the album for black people. Some people just see it as an amazing album, including myself. In terms of life outside of rap, Kendrick Lamar has primarily stayed under the radar and has primarily just been a rapper. You don't really see him out in public. He might have little cameos in TV shows here and there, but overall he just stayed in a rapper's lane. He just stayed out in the cut. People don't really know him as well. You don't really have a deep dive into what goes on behind the scenes. So he doesn't really, I'm not gonna lie, Kendrick Lamar does bring up conversation about police brutality, and black activism and black rights, and he does have influence in those fields. So I will give him that. But other than that, you don't really hear anything from him. Now, I want to also bring up, his public view. People love Kendrick Lamar. He's never really been involved in any real controversy. People, if you ask who's the best rapper out right now, most people will say Kendrick Lamar. He's revered as one of the best rappers to come out in the past decade. He's up there. Like, people respect him. So, he gets 8 out of 10 for me in terms of the categories that I've laid out of what makes a GOAT or the greatest rapper of all time. But in terms of also going with influence outside of rap, Influence outside of rap can also spread to people who have branched from Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar signed to TDE Entertainment. It's a music label coming from a guy they call I can't remember his name. From a guy who runs the record label. Kendrick Lamar, while he is the figurehead, he's not. He hasn't really put anybody on. Like, nobody has come from Kendrick Lamar, or you know what I'm saying. Nobody has really, you know. He's just been another artist. Like, a lot of the artists that have come from TDE have made a name for themselves without the likes of Kendrick Lamar. So now let's talk about J. Cole. J. Cole's a rapper out of North Carolina who also makes music that everybody who's struggling, everybody who's not struggling, just all demographics of people can relate to. So in terms of accomplishments, J. Cole has one Grammy win for a song called A Lot by 21 Savage. So it wasn't even his song, he was just a feature on it. But he was also nominated for 12 different Grammys. You know, which is still great and all, but for somebody to be considered the GOAT and not have any accomplishments is a bit of a red flag for me. In terms of, influence outside of rap, we don't really see J. Cole out and about. Like, we don't really see him with brand deals. We don't really see him with, we don't really see him, same with Kendrick Lamar. They stay pretty low-key. They stay pretty under the radar, which is, by any means, that's fine with me, but their influence doesn't really step past rap. His music also does bring up, the conversation of poverty in black communities, police brutality, just bringing up real stuff that real people go through in real life. So he does bring up conversation and he does have that influence outside of rap. But then again, it's still connected to his rap song. So that's another thing. And in terms of who he has discovered, while he did start Dreamville Entertainment, the only real person to come out of Dreamville that has acquired some real successes, I would say Ari Lennox, JID, and a few other, Isaiah Rashad, a few other people, but he hasn't really had a major sphere of influence into putting other artists on and making them, big names. So, with that being said, I would like to talk about the GOAT, the man, the myth, the legend, Kanye West. People always ask me what I would have done if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know. Kanye West. Kanye West was born and raised in Chicago. He's been in the game for such a long time. So at the beginning of this debate, I laid out that my idea of what the GOAT rapper should have is public view, accomplishments, influence, and influence outside of rap. Kanye West checks all those boxes several times. So Kanye West has been nominated for 69 Grammys and has won a total of 21 times, 4 of them being Best Rap Album. I'm just going to let you sit with that. Okay. He's also charted 69 songs. He's been on the chart with 69 songs. So obviously you can see that he's had a very accomplished career. He's won Grammys. He's won other awards. His music is legendary. So that's for the accomplishment side. Now for the his influence outside of rap, we could talk about any number of things. We could talk about his Yeezy empire. Let's start for his Yeezy empire for a start. Kanye West has started, designed, and had a successful clothing line since I want to say 2015. His influence in the fashion world has had people trying to dress like him for the past decade. We all remember the different phases of Kanye. We remember the pink polo Kanye, pink polo in the backpack Kanye. So he's had people trying to be like him and dress like him forever. And I guess this also goes with his influence outside of rap, but also with his accomplishments. He was the first non-athlete to have a deal with Nike. Come on now, the first, the first. But once his deal with Nike didn't work out, he went right to Adidas and he picked up right where he left off. And now you can look left and right and you'll see everybody with his shoes on his feet. Kendrick Lamar has terrible Nike Cortezes. Yeah, I'll leave you with that. He owns 100% stake in Yeezy, which makes him making him a billionaire. Now, I'm a person who will support and uplift any black billionaire. So I will definitely checks the box for accomplishments. And now with his influence outside of rap, Kanye West has started to build factories and places to produce his Yeezy shoes because he wants to move production back to America, which I can support. That creates more jobs for people, working that field. It just boosts the economy. So that's another check in the influence outside of rap column. Let's also talk about his political activism. He exposed George Bush in 2005 for not caring about black people when the whole Katrina relief thing was going on. He was also the first celebrity to bring up the conversation about the 13th Amendment. And during the time when he said to get rid of the 13th Amendment, people really looked at him crazy because they didn't really understand what he was saying. But when you really look at the 13th Amendment, he really did have a point because the 13th Amendment, a lot of the loopholes are very detrimental to black people. So I think that he definitely had a point there. Now with public view, he's had a troubling past in terms of public view. People have hated him, loved him, but overall, if you ask anybody, they will always respect his music. They will never disrespect his music or ever say that his music wasn't good. So although people may have their opinion because of his political views or just the things that he says in the media, everybody holds his music to an incredibly high standard. Now I talked about how Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole discovered or didn't discover these little artists, not little artists, but artists that have had, respectable careers, but nothing too crazy. But I'd like to bring up who Mr. West has discovered. Travis Scott, multi-millionaire with many #1 albums. Big Sean, many #1 songs, many hits, amazing rapper. And Chance the Rapper. Compare those with the likes of Ari Lennox and Sir and Isaiah Rashad. Compare the likes of Travis Scott, Big Sean, Chance the Rapper, just to name a few that go up against Mr. West. While you may not like Kanye West because of his political views, you do have to respect him as the greatest of all time and the best rapper and just the best public figure to really come out in the last 20 years. His resume speaks for itself. His Yeezy empire that has amassed over $1 billion, in which everybody fiends for every time a new colorway drops. His multiple every album going #1 that he's ever dropped, going #1 at one point, winning Best Rap Album 4 out of the 8 albums that he's dropped. He's more accomplished. He's done more outside of rap. He's just branched off and become more than a rapper. Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole have really just stayed in that rapper, black activist, which is nothing wrong with that, but they've stayed in that, in that safety net. So I think that you really just have to respect all that Kanye West has done for the culture, all that he's done for rap, and just be grateful not only for his music, but for the music of Travis Scott, Big Sean, and Chance the Rapper, because he really did discover and really molded their careers, to be honest. So With that, I rest my case that Kanye West is the greatest of all time and not Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. Thank you.